We see that Keith Kellogg may visit Ukraine in the coming days, Kyiv Post reports, and according to the outlets, sources, the visit by the U.S. Special Envoy could take place ahead of the deadline set by Trump for Putin, and it coincides with the planned trip to Russia by Steve Witkoff, another envoy of the U.S., as we said. What specific objectives might Keith Kellogg pursue during his upcoming visit to Ukraine, especially given the approaching ceasefire deadline set by Donald Trump?
For Keith Kellogg, of course, it is important to see what's going on the ground, let's say. And also, as we've seen before, since Putin loves to show off and loves to show that that no pressure can be put on him and that nothing touches him, this is also a way to make sure that Russian Russian side knows that President Trump's representative is right now in Kyiv. After all those attacks that we've been seeing, after all those attacks, the record-breaking attacks, the sadly and catastrophically record-breaking attacks, it seems to me that for all those 6 months that President Trump has been in power, we've been every week or every day, we've been hearing the record-breaking attack, and there is another record-breaking attack. But when there is a U.S. representative in Kyiv, at least we see a little bit less of Russia's drones and rockets flying into Ukraine. So maybe this is also a way to, let's say, make sure the Russian side knows who is in Kyiv right now. But for Keith Kellogg, it's also very important to see what is going on the ground. And I believe, of course, as we understand, Steve Witkoff and Keith Kellogg can have some back channels. They can communicate through some back channels, and they can communicate, for example, through the embassies, through if they need to. If there is this light at the end of the tunnel, if there is this opportunity for a ceasefire, and they would need to talk immediately. They would need to exchange some information immediately and to communicate immediately. It's better to have both representatives in the respective cities, of course, in Moscow and in Kyiv, to communicate. And if there is this opportunity, if there is this possibility of ceasefire, to immediately negotiate it right there and then, not to postpone it until everyone comes back to Washington. No, negotiate it right there and then. So there is some, let's say, optimism, I believe, on the American side, although I must say that I am rather pessimistic with this opportunity or possibility, but the pressure is getting higher and higher from the American side. This gives optimism. The economic pressure gives optimism, of course, but at least there is a hope. And maybe if, as they say in the US, if there is a hope, there is a way. Maybe there is a way that we don't know of, because as Marco Rubio said, those communications are continuing. So hopefully we just don't know the whole picture, let's say.
About another possible visit, Donald Trump may travel to China while Putin is there. Serbian President Alexandra Vučić has said, according to him, there is a possibility that the US president will arrive in Beijing to take part in events marking the 80th anniversary of the end of the World War II. What could be the geopolitical implications if Donald Trump and dictator Vladimir Putin were to meet in Beijing?
Well, actually, it all boils down to one thing. There is only one issue that can be discussed by President Trump and Vladimir Putin if they are not talking about Ukraine, and it's nuclear weapons. And we should, let's say, look at the situation as it is. That's the reality of the situation, that unfortunately, because of or due to the Soviet Union, Russia has the biggest stockpile of nuclear weapons. And in 2026, in February 2026, the New START treaty comes to an end. The New START treaty is the last remaining arms control agreement between the United States and Russia. It's the last nuclear arms control agreement between US and Russia. It limits both sides to 105,050 nuclear warheads. It limits both sides to 700 deployed nuclear missiles and 800 launchers. And most importantly, it includes on-site inspections, it includes data sharing, and most importantly, it also includes non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. And this is the last agreement between the United States and Russia on nuclear weapons and on non-proliferation of those nuclear weapons. It all ends in February 2026. President Trump, during his first term, already, he had said that it would be wise to include China into the new agreement, the new START treaty. It would be wise to have China as a part of that treaty. President Trump has talked about it during his first term. So if we really will see China, the US and Russia coming to the table, most probably it's going to be only and exclusively about nuclear weapons, because China is also a big nuclear power. Of course, Russia has the biggest stockpile of nuclear weapons. Then comes the United States, then comes China, and they're very low on the number of their warheads are Great Britain and France. But the main, let's say, number of weapons is in Russia and the United States.